Okay, so we are going to cover the element of color next. So, what is color? Color is the way that we see light reflecting off of a surface. So, all the different colors you see are actually the color that doesn't get absorbed into the object but bounces back into your eye to where you can see. Okay, so for example, if you see something that is black, you're seeing that because it is the presence of every color and it is all compiled into that one spot. So if it's a black t shirt, um, then it's absorbing all the color. That's another reason that when you wear a black t shirt on a summer day, you're going to feel much warmer because it's absorbing all the energy of the sun. All right, now if you see any color that's on the spectrum bouncing off and in your vision, that just means that that is the color not absorbed by that object. So if you see a red bouncy ball, then you're seeing red light reflected off of that ball, and that ball is absorbing the rest of the rainbow. Now, white is the most reflective color because it reflects all of Roy G. Biv from the rainbow. It reflects all the colors off of it. That's also why if you wear a white t-shirt, you will feel cooler than if you wore the black t-shirt because that white is reflecting all of the heat energy from the sun, reflecting that light back off of its surface. So, color is just the way that we see light reflecting off of an object. Now, we're going to talk about this for just a minute. So, when you see this dress right here, what colors do you see? There's some people that see yellow and gold, or white and gold, and then some people see black and blue. So think about what colors you see. Now, going in understanding, first of all, um, everything that you're seeing is not as much just your eyes, it's more what your brain is telling your eyes. So when you see something, you're seeing the light and the sensation that that light causes through your eye to your brain. So then the brain takes that information and creates the image that you actually see. What your brain sees is called perception. We've talked about this a little bit without using that word, but perception is just what your brain makes of an object when it sees it. So there is no color blue that is independent of our brain. So what we see is blue is a wavelength of light. It has no color on its own. It becomes the blue when your eye detects that particular wavelength sent to your brain. So your brain develops different tricks so that what you perceive um, is easier to take in. So when your brain is adapted to doing this, it will automatically notice when something is going to endanger us. For example, like if a tiger were to lunge towards you, your brain will start doing that before your consciousness will even tell you to do that and will tell you to get out of the way. It's just sort of like, I think, like spidey senses. So your brain sort of has this filler where it knows when things are um, dangerous, or if it knows how to complete an image in your head, it will automatically do that for you. There are lots of cool things that your brain actually does that relate to art. But to me, this idea of what it does with light is really cool. So, one of the things that we can explain, this going back to our dress picture, going on, is that during the day, the light of the color or this color of the sunlight is going to vary. So, in the early mornings, when you look outside at the sun, you're going to see like the reddish orange warm colors. And then by the time you get up to high noon, like middle of the day, 12, lunchtime, you're going to get more of a blue light. So you get this blue filter around the sun. And then when you look at an object using this same concept of what light it's in, you're going to get um, different ideas of what the color is. So back to the dress, when you look at this dress, some people that see the yellow, gold color and white instead of the blue and black, they're seeing this at a morning or evening light behind it, and they're thinking, like, they're not consciously, but their brain is telling them, oh, this was taking in the early morning or in the late evening. Therefore, this light is red, and it makes you see this in warm colors. Whereas the true color of the dress is blue and black. Now, the only reason that it looks funny in this picture, like I said, is just how light is around it and how that makes your brain jump to seeing it in different ways. So we'll move on, but that's a really interesting way that color and light work together to kind of trick your brain. Now, color and art, the main feature. This is what we're going to be talking about. There are three main things that we're going to talk about. We'll go back and talk about color schemes in another lesson, but we're going to talk about hue. This is just the family that a color belongs to. So it doesn't matter if it's lemon yellow, raspberry red, whatever little version of that color it is. If you can call it yellow, then it belongs to the yellow family. Just like your last name, whatever your last name is, means that you belong to that family. So, like Jessica, I belong to the Skates family. I put up here Serena belongs to the Williams family. So, whenever it has that little hint of what color it's going to be, it kind of gets grouped into that section. Okay, so like this one is an orange, this one is a reds, even though they're different reds. These are all greens, even though there are 4 different color greens. Okay, moving on. The next word is intensity. Intensity is just how pure the color is. If you do a photo filter, you change the saturation of colors. So you're either adding another color to it, like you go from red to purple in this one. So like in this one, there's a tiny bit of purple. It changed it a little bit. Whereas in this one, it's more purple than red now, and it's totally changed the intensity of the color. The most intense you can get a color is straight from the paint tube, paint palette, straight from the crayon box with nothing else mixed over top of it. That is the color at its most intense. Okay, value. We've talked about this with white and black, but value is the exact same in color. It is the lightness and darkness of that color. So, for example, blue over here, here's the medium blue color, and they added white to it to make it a tint. That is the lighter side of it. Tint, it means it's been lightened or white has been added. And then the darker side is a shade. So think of sitting in the shade outside. You're slightly darker because you're under canopy of some sort, and you're actually in the shade and it's a little darker. So shade side means they've added black to it or a very dark color to darken the value. Okay? All right. That's it.